everyone, welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Superpowers. This is Karen, I'm Dawn, and today we are with Marilyn Penny.
Hi.
One of our favorite guests. We're downtown Toronto in her gorgeous apartment, and we are here to talk about relationship readings that you did. You did a relationship reading for me and my mom. And
me and my mom.
Yeah, and today we're going to talk about the relationship reading you did for my mom and I, who, if people are viewers of the show, they'll know that my mom passed away about 6 weeks ago. And we were able to do a relationship reading from the other side.
Yes.
So thank you, Marilyn, for allowing us to come down into your space.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me. Yeah. Why don't we play the actual video of you guys debriefing the reading, and then we'll kind of come back and talk a little bit more.
Okay, so here's a clip of Marilyn and I talking about my mom and mine's relationship reading.
So do you want me to dive right in? Do you want to do an intro?
I would love to, because I'm so interested in this part of this, because my mom is no longer here, and you can still do a relationship reading.
Yes.
With someone who is no longer here.
I've thought about doing a reading for my mom, for Steve. I tried Steve, and because we were no longer connected when he died, we were energetically, because we were separated.
Right.
We weren't divorced, but we were legally separated, and I'm not allowed. I don't have permission.
Right.
So
Right.
it's
That's
really
one of the things I was wondering about. Like,
yes.
Do you ask for permission in the Akashic? Is that how you access
you already, because you are a blood relative, or because you have that relationship, you already have energetic permission. But I do sort of ask if I can access the record, and I ask permission if they're willing to do this. So clearly your mother was willing to do this with you, which is so beautiful, and it really made me, I could really feel the love from her, and I could feel a lot of peace, and I'm really feeling a lot more things now as I do more of this work. But it was just so lovely to do it, and I'm so glad that we can. So I can actually request a clearing on her behalf, and I can give you homework to do on her behalf if you would like to do that. And it just removes a few things from her record, so when she comes back, she's going to have a little less blocks in her.
Right. I'm happy to help her with that.
Good, fantastic. Okay, great. So just a quick recap, and the reason we do these relationship readings, and you've done with Karen, it's to get to know each other on a soul level. So it's just another layer of understanding, and also if there are things that we've connected ourselves to that maybe we need to release, like things like contracts, or and it's kind of fun to find out past lifetimes and how we came together and how many times and that sort of thing. So that's really
I love your reading. They are so much fun.
Oh, good, excellent. So we're going to review, and I know we've done this multiple times with you, Dawn, your soul characteristics, but then I'm going to do your mom's as well. So, and then her characteristics from when she was here with us. So first of all, you are the mentally oriented, technical, analytical. We know that you're very sciencey, and really strong emphasis on functionality. So you want things to work properly, and they have to have some common sense behind them. Like they have to be rooted in some sort of scientific evidence, if you will. So I think that's really important for you. And then the dysfunction is that disconnection. So becoming a loner, like, diving into your work or your studies or something and kind of just disconnecting from other people. So it's really important to notice when you start to do that you have to put the books down or put the work down and go spend some time with your loved one. So your mom, who shares my name, Marilyn, I'm so honored. She was an improver. So she didn't necessarily recreate things, but she loved to take things and take them apart and put them back together. Does that make sense at all?
Well, she really, at one point she went back to school to be a computer technician. So her role was to literally disassemble computers and fix them and put them back together. Yeah, okay. Although she didn't really end up doing that as a career, that's what she had actually chosen to do.
Okay. Yeah. And then she was really good at planning and used calendars? Was she like that? Was she kind of really like to be organized? And
Yeah. Yeah. They, it's not something I really noticed when I was younger, but with my brother and I both playing rep sports and both my parents working full time, my dad doing shift work, having one car, we never missed anything. So she had to have been good at that.
I think, it's the dark side of it is that lack of originality. So maybe feeling that she didn't have new ideas, or she didn't feel that she was original. So I don't know if you ever found that with her, that she felt like she was just someone else, like a cog in the wheel, and because she wasn't really creating anything new or coming to something new. Was there ever any feeling of that, do you think?
I feel like maybe she felt it, but in her actions, she never, for instance, with work, she was happy just going to work, doing her job, and then coming home. I'm not sure.
Or she didn't have a chance to use that gift of being able to take something apart and put it back together.
Right.
And maybe that was, yeah. And I know for my mother, I mean, after we were all born, my mother was a singer before she got married. She was a wedding singer, and she had an album, and she was a fantastic singer. And she just let all that go, and she didn't get to express her gift anymore because she was, just sometimes women just came into her, and men too, just came into a role. My dad wanted to be an Olympic skater. So I mean, the two of them, I'm like, what were you doing? You got together, you got 5 kids, and that was it. Gone. Skating gone, singing gone. So like, so interesting.
Yeah, being in that state of mind where and maybe it was a generational thing too, where like it didn't really matter what you wanted. This is what you do. You grow up, you settle down, you have a family, like you have that role to play. So it doesn't matter, what you want. That could be she never really talked about ambition or what she had wished she had done or anything like that. She seemed content with normalcy and average.
Yeah. And my mom too. She kind of lived vicariously through us, through her kids, right? And then, but then she suffered a lot of physical stuff, and I know your mother went through a lot of illness too. So sometimes I think there's a connection there with the emotional and the psychological and the mental, and just that feeling of I don't have a purpose on my own. I don't have a path of what I really wanted to do. So I think there's something there. I don't know all, we're still learning and always will be learning about how this goes. But so I think it's very interesting, but it's really nice to sort of think about all the things, and maybe her next go round, she's going to come and do these fantastic things. So that's really cool. Okay. So for your mom, she has one primary energy center, and it's communication, which is very interesting. So writing, speaking, was there anything to that? Did she like to write? Do you know if she wrote or wanted to write or sing or do any kind of expression of communication?
Not that I can remember.
Do you remember having talks with her where her words really struck you and they really helped you?
Actually, there was definitely things that she told me that have always been with me. And, like you and I were talking outside of this about how many stories and like all the sympathy cards, all the stories I've gotten from people, and just the conversations that they had with her and her, I guess, advice, and how it always kind of stuck with them. So that could be where, she always sent out cards. She was like, the one that has, like hundreds of Christmas cards every year. She would send them out. And but I have a feeling that she maybe didn't express herself as much as being kind of stuck in what she should be doing as a mother or a wife, like that kind of thing.
Right. And I find it is very different in a previous generation, because I have done a number of I've done some work with people who are in their 80s, and and they said, oh, I used to be like that when I was young, and then I lost myself. So the fact that she did express herself through cards and through advice and through talking to people, and that would have been that generation, that would have been communicator. Today it might be a speaker or a writer, right?
Right.
So it's
Right.
a little bit different frame. So that's just came to me like, no, this is how she did it. And that's her energy, her essence. So whenever she returns in another lifetime, she will be potentially a writer or speaker. So isn't that nice to think about that? That she will be, she will use those gifts again. So that's lovely.
Okay, so there's a clip a little bit about what my mom was like energetically. Since my mom has passed, I have been shown different sides of my mom than maybe who I wasn't familiar with. And for instance, I've been getting sympathy cards that have stories written in them, people's memories, different perspective. And with our reading, you showed me more about my mom that, you know, coming from a daughter's perspective, I just didn't know my mom on those levels. And I was saying to both of you, it's almost like I'm on this journey. You know, you see the movies, we read the books of someone who passed, and so then they take that person's ashes on a journey, or they go, you know, on a hunt to find out information. That's kind of what I feel like I'm on with my mom, and getting to know her differently than how I knew her. And your reading really opened up my eyes to like who she is, because I could see that after you told me the information. At first I was like, it doesn't really sound like my mom, but the more I thought about it and the more I spoke to my family, you could really see it in her. But maybe she didn't act on her true authentic self, her true soul alignment, and maybe her journey while she was here, which we're going to talk about today too. Because we have free will, and we can choose to either soften or harden or embrace. And maybe if we don't embrace and change and grow like our soul journey has planned for us, we might not be the person that our soul, we might not
was intended for
Right.
us
Yeah.
as
Right.
we were created. Yeah, so we don't, in essence, don't fulfill our purpose. And then, you know, we don't share music with the world, and we feel frustrated and in fear, and your mother went through some health issues, and those types of things may tend to happen when we're not living our authentic self.
Right. And we talk about that, like, especially for me, if I go off, I lose focus, my body tells me
Yes.
I get sick,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Or my addictions come up.
Mm-hmm.
And those are great
Signals for you.
great
Yes.
signals for me to say, oh wait, reevaluate, you know, what am I compromising?
And so with the readings too, when I uncover your soul's personality and divine gifts, I always give you, here's sort of the dark side or the flip side of it. So you know when you're starting to go down to that dark side, that's when you recheck and go back and say, oh, this is what I need to do.
Right.
I need to get out in nature. I need to do certain things that align with my soul.
Right.
Yeah.
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 You know what kind of struck me is that you also are continuing your relationship with your mother, even though she's passed away,
Right.
which is really cool.
Which you had mentioned that because you had released me of some of the burdens and the blocks that our soul contracts had, right? That I am now free of that thanks to your reading. And then you also freed my mom so that in her next life, she is starting off on a better note. She's not really bringing all that baggage with her. And so we can still work on things that we maybe didn't get to in this life.
Yes.
And as we carry that forward, we often think about karma or past life traumas that we're bringing into this life, but we really don't think about what we will be taking with us.
Yes.
And even now that my mom has transitioned, she can still do the work from this life as well as previous lives, because you brought up other lives. In fact, you said that we've been in four previous lives together, and all family, which you said was unusual, right?
I haven't come across that.
Yeah.
So in particular.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So we've had quite a few runs together. So I so enjoy the reading, and you really got, you know, my mind going. And there's been really enjoying discovering my mom on this whole other level. And the fact that, you know, if she was someone who didn't quite live up to her full potential or follow her journey and learn the lessons that she was here to let, with the work that you did for her, just helps her move on. Yeah. So There's just so much, I guess, comfort in that, because she did have a really hard life, and I don't want her to have to do that again, to learn the lessons that maybe she didn't quite get this time
I
around.
should mention that that's kind of how it can go, is if you are given certain challenges in life and you don't overcome them, or you don't meet those challenges, that often we will repeat them in the next life. It's so valuable to release all that if we can, right?
So if someone did want to get a relationship reading with you,
You can contact me at mvplifeguide@gmail.com, or check out my website, lifeguidecoaching.ca.
And we'll put that in the description box as well.
Thank you.
Make it easy for people to find you.
yeah, so just scroll down, hit the links. All right, well, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode, and thank you to Marilyn Penny, who has allowed us into her home. So if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button along with that little bell so you don't miss an episode. And
Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you soon.